I made pecan sticky buns, and I want to show y'all how I made it. The first thing that you should do is activate your yeast. You should definitely use a bigger bowl than I did. I had to switch my yeast to like another bigger bowl. In the meantime, while your yeast is activating, just prepare your other ingredients. At this point, you can put it in the stand mixer and mix it with the stand mixer, but I don't have a stand mixer, so I just kneaded it by hand for about 5 or 10 minutes. You want to keep kneading it until it's smooth and you can press your finger into it and it'll like bounce back up. You put your dough in a greased bowl and you cover it with a moist towelette and you let it rise for about an hour and a half or until it's doubled in size. I'm doing that same thing all over again because I want to make a smaller version for my grandma because she doesn't eat sugar. So this one's gonna be sugar free. You take the softened butter and you just mush the brown sugar and butter and cinnamon into it to make a classic cinnamon roll filling. Now that it's doubled in size, I'm gonna go ahead and roll it out, fill it, and then I'm gonna let it rise a second time. The main goal of this is to get a really big rectangle shape. And it took a little bit of time, but you want to make it like a centimeter or so thick. Not too thick or else they won't cook all the way through. You should definitely use like a spatula, like a rubber spatula to spread this filling around, but I just used a spoon. Do as I say, not as I do. So I made the pecan topping and I made a honey version. And you just put it at the bottom of the pan before you actually cut the cinnamon rolls, and then you layer the cinnamon rolls on top of the filling. I had to do the same thing a second time with the honey one, so I just did that. For the honey cinnamon roll, I filled it with melted butter, honey, and cinnamon. And it was like kind of hard for me to actually pick up because the inside was very moist, but it ended up working out beautifully. I was actually going to measure them out, but I couldn't decide if I wanted 8 or 9 or what. So I just cut them into like 2-inch pieces or 1.5-inch pieces, and I ended up with 9, I think. This is me rolling them up one by one and putting them in the pan. I rolled them like this because it's way easier to do it like this than to just roll the whole log and then try to cut the log without having the filling fall out. So that's what I did. I could have definitely rolled out the dough way longer and gotten more. I feel like I could have gotten like 3 more at least. But honestly, they came out super big and juicy and like beautiful. So I'm pretty happy with the way that they came out. However, around this time is when I realized I did not like line them up well. So I started like readjusting where I wanted them to be. But this is a pretty forgiving recipe, so like I was able to like pick up and like scooch over and all that stuff. So I rearranged them and then I put them into a warm oven to rise a second time, and here it is risen, ready to go into the oven. This was them straight out the oven. They were still bubbling, and this is them when I flipped them. They were beautiful and shiny and glistening, and these tasted amazing. I flipped them over and then I put them back in their original pans, and this is it all plated up.